Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more Freeway Fighter. Let's get rid of that bookmark for a moment. Don't worry, it's there. So last time, we got started on our adventure. And the important question we all want to know the answer is to... The important question we all want to know the answer to is... Will Clark make a name for himself? Or will he be forever known as just Jeremy's son? We fought the infamous red Chevy, and we went past a traffic jam. We've had warning that the town elder has been captured, Sinclair, the council leader of New Hope, and we're going to go and try and rescue him. We did not stop at Joe's garage. They have no petrol and it is a trap, we were warned, and there's a big biker gang who have attacked New Hope and taken away Sinclair. You flash past a road sign which shows a turning to the south immediately ahead. Well, we do probably need to turn south eventually, but the fighting fantasy rule will continue on eastwards. The road is open and wrecked cars are an infrequent hazard. The speedometer reads well above the maximum speed limit that is used to control the road, but you know that there is no chance of getting a speeding ticket now. Your equipment, however, is short-lived. Your enjoyment, however, is short-lived. A roadblock of upturned cars and trucks comes into view. You slow down and survey the scene, sensing danger. We could fire a rocket at the roadblock, drive around the roadblock, or drive back and take the last junction heading south. I believe we have 2 rockets. Come on, you. There we go. 4 rockets. Oh, we'll just use it. Yeah, absolutely. Kablam. Absolutely blammo. What a picture. Oof, goes up in the air, looking a little bit like a skull with an eye, and maybe a sort of crooked mouth, one sort of nose. Does this book have colour options, or... mode. Classic, okay. Let's go back to retro. Okay, fine. No, God no, don't delete classic images. Okay, so this book doesn't have colour picture options. Reaching forward, you press the rocket launcher button on the control panel. The interceptor shakes as the rocket is fired, and the explosion which follows immediately is loud and blinding. When the smoke clears, you see that the roadblock no longer exists. Suddenly, you hear the roar of a motorcycle engine starting up and see 2 leather-clad armed riders appear from behind a bush and blaze up the road through the hole in the roadblock. The passenger turns and fires a warning shot at you as the bike races away. Well, let's give chase. We're looking for a motorbike gang. Before you have time to catch them, they turn around and drive straight towards you. The machine gun above the headlamp blazes red and white as it spits out bullets at you. You press the accelerator down hard on the floor and race the interceptor towards them, your finger clutching the machine gun trigger. Let's fight. Vehicle combat it is. It looks like we have significant firepower advantage. 4 diff, we're looking good. We might be able to make it out without a scratch. This is not the red Chevy we're up against. So far, so good. Ooh. A tie. Not going to waste a rocket on these people. I've already used one once. Okay. Blammo! Down they go. You walk over to a wrecked bike, carrying your revolver in one hand and the medkit in the other. One of the men is dead and the other is barely alive. You kick his pistol away from him and see if he can be saved. He opens his eyes, smiles and says, "Fat Jack and the boys will get you for this." Then he slumps back and is still. Your medkit cannot help him now. You check the bike over and notice a locked side pannier. We could try and open that. What we're going to do, shoot the lock? We don't have a key or... You fire up the lock of a pannier. 3 shots and it's open. Inside you find a pair of handcuffs, a map and 200 credits. We are racking up creds here. We're on what? 550? After putting the handcuffs and the credits in your jacket pocket, you look at the map. There is a red circle drawn around New Hope. Obviously these men came from the same gang that attacked New Hope. A small town named Rockville is marked with a red cross and is not too far southeast from where you are now. No doubt it is the temporary home of the bikers. You decide to change the wheel on your interceptor before any of the bikers' friends arrive. Why? Didn't have a puncture or something? Fortunately, the wheel hub is not damaged and you are able to fit a spare wheel quite quickly. Why did we have to... We didn't take damage, we used a rocket to... odd. You're soon charging down the road, shaking your head at the mad world you are now forced to live in. You soon arrive at another signpost, which points down a narrow dirt track towards a town called Rockville. Fighting Fantasy Rule would say go east, but the Fighting Fantasy Rule also says if you have a better reason to go in a different direction, go that way. South to Rockville it is. I laughed because I was thinking before I started recording, we haven't used our luck once in this adventure yet, and we haven't even had to use our skill very much. I was wondering if luck would be less useful. The dirt track is rough and bumpy and you realise that people from miles around will see the dust that the speeding interceptor is throwing up. Nonetheless, you are determined to reach Rockville. Suddenly you see a blinding flash on top of a boulder in the distance. We'll test our luck. Oh yes, we are lucky. Somebody has fired a bazooka at you, but the shell explodes harmlessly a few meters to your left. You press down on the accelerator, steering the interceptor towards your attackers. But before you can reach them, they jump onto motorbikes and race off. We could give them chase, or reverse, drive back to the road and turn right. No, we're going to Rockville. Chase them. There's an obvious bullet hole in that window, and I think one in the eaves there, just under the rooftop. This place has seen some violence. The bikes are suited to driving along the dirt track and you're unable to catch up with them. In the distance you see a cluster of houses which must be Rockville. The bikes drive straight towards the houses and disappear from view. As you get closer you hear the sound of gunfire which seems to be coming from the nearest farmhouse. We could fire a rocket at the farmhouse. How would I have used all 4? Keep driving towards the houses. Fire a rocket and hope the prisoner isn't in there. The farmhouse is an easy target and... oh wow. The farmhouse is an easy target and the rocket does not miss. The explosion destroys the farmhouse, sending fragments of brick and wood flying through the air. When the dust has settled, you drive cautiously ahead, one finger against the machine gun trigger. You stop alongside the farmhouse, but see no signs of life. You turn off the engine and wind down the window of the interceptor. You hear the desperate cry of a man calling for help. We'll get out of the car and help him. It could be the man we've come to rescue. You walk over towards the sound of the cry for help and find that it is coming from inside a shack attached to the general store. You ask who's inside the shack. It's Sinclair, New Hope's council leader. You search around and find an iron bar to prise open the lock on the door. Soon Sinclair is free. You gain a luck point, back up to 10. Do we get to keep the iron bar? We get to keep the iron bar. Sinclair tells you about the raid on New Hope and his kidnapping. He asks you to radio to New Hope to tell them that he will return by motorbike as soon as possible. There are 2 bikes parked in front of the general store, of which he chooses the old Harley Davidson. Thanking you for your help, he waves goodbye and roars off to the north. We can now search the general store, search for the nearest house, drive off south. Yeah, let's search the shop. He was in the building right next to it. Inside the general store, you find a can of meat which you greedily devour, not having eaten such a rare delicacy for a long time. This is Jeremy's clerk, Jeremy's son after all. He's probably just gonna, gobble down anything. Your stamina increases by 2 points, but can't go above its maximum. More importantly, you find a full canister of petrol which you stow inside the interceptor. So we now have 1 fuel canister. That's good, because we used up our last. If you've not done so already, you may search for the nearest house by turning to 252. Wait, one of these is a trap, isn't it? I remember. I'm not sure if a trap is avoidable. There's no more signs of life. I think we should go. We'll drive off to the south. The dirt track twists and turns through the open countryside, but at last you come to a T-junction where the dirt track is crossed by a good road. You look down it both ways, but do not see any vehicles or signs of life. Well, let's see. East or west? Woo. Huh. In theory, we've headed east a bit and should head west a bit. So, I probably headed east here. South or west. One goes to the Laughing Man, one goes to the Rough Road. Laughing Man comes down to here, so we're wanting to get to the Blitz race, which will be from Sparkplug Peaks. Rough Road. Maybe there'll be an indicator here. So I think we don't want to go this way. We need to get to the Blitz race. I think we need to head east. Although that feels really weird. The road heads directly east and you're able to travel along it without incident until you reach another T-junction. Okay. Here you decide to turn right in order to drive south towards San Anglo. The road cuts through overgrown fields, but there are no obstructions. You check your mileometer to see how far you have come and notice that the petrol gauge is reading empty again. We have picked up a fuel canister in Rockville and should absolutely use it. You brake to a halt and get out of the car to empty the fuel canister into the petrol tank. See, I was thinking we've headed east quite a bit, we probably want to head west a bit as well to get back online so we don't go too far off in one direction. The canister does not hold much petrol and you realise that you will have to be on the lookout for more if you hope to reach San Anglo. By the time you set off again, it is early evening and you watch the setting sun through the right-hand window. Soon it will be dark and there is a new decision to make. We could drive off the road and sleep on the night inside the interceptor or drive on through the night. Let's get some sleep, we don't want to tire ourselves out too much. You pull off the road and park the interceptor behind a row of bushes. When you turn the engine off, you suddenly realise how quiet it is outside and wonder if anybody heard you stop. You decide not to go to sleep until it is totally dark and spend a long time eating your makeshift evening meal. When you are finally convinced that nobody is likely to find you, you stretch out and go to sleep. In the morning, you wake early, feeling refreshed. You gain 2 stamina points. You waste no time and drive back on the road heading south. Oh, that looks like it's the armoured car. Yes, okay, I'm on track. That's good. Just as you're beginning to enjoy the freedom of the open road in the early morning light, you are suddenly startled by the sight in your rearview mirror of a vehicle closing up on you. It is an armoured car, and you see a jet of flame flash from its gun barrel as a shell is fired at you. It explodes to your left, rocking the car, but you're able to keep control. Do we drop iron spikes? Well, we've got iron spikes, oil spray, 3 spikes, 2 sprays. We get the option of using these in the big race later on, don't we? But we don't want to puncture our own tyres. This guy's behind us, so we won't have to reverse and drive back. Well, we could carry out a high-speed handbrake turn and face the armoured car. I'm going to go with an oil spray, because that weapon looks highly risky, let's say. You lean forward and press the button on the dashboard, which releases the oil spray. The armoured car drives straight over the oil slick, and you watch with amusement as the driver struggles to control the skidding vehicle. You roll and get a 2. 1 in 6 chance of something very rare, so the driver is unable to control the skidding armoured car, and it runs off the road into a ditch. You smile and accelerate away, leaving behind the immobilised vehicle. We made it to safety. As the morning wears on, it becomes very hot, and you notice a change in the vegetation the further south you travel. The overgrown fields turn into scrubland, and it won't be long before you are driving across the desert. A few miles further down the road, you arrive at a major junction. We can turn right and head west, or keep driving south. I think we want to... Right. Heading south, I think, goes to the Laughing Man and the caravan. And somewhere around here we have the tube for siphoning petrol, but then a petrol check and we run out and just stop. So, I think... Oops. I think we head west. You drive about 80 kilometers and then the road ends at a T-junction. You decide to turn left in the direction of San Anglo. Leading off the road on your right is a rough road which is marked with several sets of tyre tracks. The tracks look as if they were made quite recently. And we do seem to be on the correct route. Oh! Lucky guess there. We could drive down the rough road. Chap here is sitting on a gate. Oh, it's a country gate. Look, it's got the diagonal bar and everything. Race. Well, it's not Tony. Tonne, it's today. He's got tattoos and a gun. Better be careful. Oh, he's got a lion's head belt buckle as well. And a headscarf. This guy's serious. You drive along the bumpy road until you come to a wooden gate which bars the way. The gate is covered with barbed wire, and a heavily tattooed, bare-chested man sits casually astride it, brandishing a machine gun. In a gruff voice he says, "I don't recognise you. Which gang are you from?" "Black Rats," you reply on the spur of the moment. "I've never heard of them," the man replies. Still, we'll race against anybody. Follow the road down to the burnt-out house and you'll see the other cars parked there. The first race will start in about 5 minutes. There are some pretty heavy bets to be laid today. Should be lots of fun. We could drive through the gate. Or reverse quickly and drive back to the main road. Let's go down to the race. Following the instructions of the tattooed man, you drive down the dirt road to the burnt-out house. 4 customized cars are parked in a row, each sprouting a multitude of weapons. A group of people stands in a heated discussion, although they all turn to watch you park. You walk over to the group and ask them about the forthcoming race. A small man with a scar running the length of his face smiles and says, "Rookie, huh? Never been to a Blitz race before? Listen, it's quite simple. Challenge any of us to a race. You have to bet 200 creds, but if you win, the prize is a big can of petrol. If you win, that is." The man bursts into laughter and the others join in. Oh, we'll challenge him to a Blitz race. We want that petrol. You take 200 credits out of your pocket and thrust them towards a man with the scar. He snatches them from you and says, "There's a sucker born every minute. Get in your car. Let's do it. We'll race for 8 kilometers down the dirt road, turn around at the White House and race back. But remember, there are no holds barred in a Blitz race, except bullets and rockets." So, no bullets, no rockets. We got flat you fix, spare wheel, oil spray, iron spikes. And anything we use on the outgoing journey would be a hazard on the return one, theoretically. Now, you notice the game didn't ask us if we had 200 credits. That's because that was our starting money, and we haven't had an opportunity to spend any yet. We've only gained. You climb inside the interceptor, start it up and crawl forward to the starting line. Your opponent draws alongside you in his bright yellow Ford. You see that he is armed with 2 machine guns and a grenade launcher. He said no bullets and no rockets, but he's got a grenade launcher. We don't have one of those. A young woman standing in between the 2 cars raises a white towel into the air and then suddenly pulls it down to signal the start of the race. Roll 2 dice. It's a skill test. We have skill. Clearly, Jeremy has imbued some exceptional degree of skill in his son Clark, who knows how to drive a car. You stamp down on the accelerator and release the clutch at the same time. The back wheels spin, throwing up dust, but you race off ahead of the yellow Ford. In your rearview mirror, you see the anger on your opponent's face as he drives to the limit along the narrow road to catch up with you. The Ford must be supercharged. It accelerates up behind you and rams your car at high speed. Oh, this is a luck test. Oh, same as we rolled last time. 5 each time we've had to test luck this episode. The interceptor swerves to the left, but you steer into the skid and keep the car under control. You have to think quickly to decide which tactics to use. We can accelerate away or brake and let him go past. Tactically, it might be worth letting him go past. Let's accelerate away, though. Because Clark is Jeremy's son. He has a massive ego and can't let anyone else go in front. The Ford driver is anticipating your breakaway and calmly presses the button of the grenade launcher. The grenade flies over the interceptor and bounces along the road in front of you. We could accelerate over it or brake hard. We will brake hard. You slam on the brakes and screech to a halt. The Ford crashes into your rear bumpers as the grenade explodes harmlessly in front of you. The ram, however, causes 2 points of damage to your armor. Well, guess what? Our vehicle still has 17 points of armor. It's looking pretty banged up now. It's lost about half its armor. You accelerate and then brake away again, suddenly. The Ford swerves around you and accelerates away. As you are not allowed to use your forward-firing weapons, you decide to try and ram the Ford. We should call it a prefect. The Ford slows down for a bend in the road, but you keep your foot down hard on the accelerator. You crash into the back of the Ford, but only succeed in damaging the Interceptor. Your car loses 2 more armor, but it is still roadworthy. The Ford has steel-plated crash bars built to withstand ramming. You realise that you will have to overtake the Ford in order to use your rear missile weapons. As though he has read your mind, the Ford's driver starts to swing the car from side to side to stop you passing. It will take considerable manoeuvring skill to pass him. However, Clark is Jeremy's son, and as we have already established, he knows how to drive a car. You tried rolling a 12 or less on 2 dice. It's pretty much automatic. You make as if to pass the Ford on its left-hand side, but suddenly swerve to overtake on the right. It is a successful maneuver, and you're able to accelerate away from your opponent, and we're not even at the White House yet. You decide that it is time to use a weapon against the chasing car, so you look at the buttons on the dashboard. We can use a canister of iron spikes or a spray film of oil over the road. If we drop spikes and we have to drive back across those spikes, that's going to be our tyres wrecked. If it's an oil spray, it could be a skill check on the return journey. So we'll use our last oil spray. Oh, okay. Oh wow, this could be really serious. The oil sinks into the dirt-covered road and there's no effect on the car behind. You lose 1 luck point. The driver of the Ford retaliates by firing a grenade over your car to land on the road in front of you. There is a muffled explosion as the steel-plated under chassis takes the full blast of the grenade. To determine this additional damage to your Interceptor, you must roll 2 dice. Oh, wow, I hope we get a chance for like a repair shop soon. Because this vehicle is going to be heavily damaged after this. I mean, look at it. 6 armor remaining. Still racing, you see ahead of you the White House, where you must turn around. You jam on the brakes and turn the steering wheel sharply to the left. You reverse for a few meters in a cloud of churned up dust and then slam the gear stick forwards into first to race back to the finish line. The Ford makes an equally swift U-turn and is soon right behind you again. It powers alongside you and the driver pulls down on his steering wheel in order to side-swipe the Interceptor. He looks set to determine the outcome of this duel by ramming. During this combat, a successful ram will reduce a car's armor by 2 points. Can we survive 4 attack rounds? Let's see how good is he at driving. Firepower 8. We've got 2 diff. You never know. Ooh, don't let me down now, dice. Get him! You hit the yellow Ford. If we can hit him 1 more time... No, if he can fail to hit us once, we're okay. Got him again! Also, if we survive 4 attacks, his car's still guaranteed to be in the fight. Ooh. We got him! Yeah, you ram him, Clark. Be the arrogant, egotistical twat your father made you out to be. The combat has lasted long enough. I think we're reaching the finishing line. There's probably about a kilometre to go before you cross the finishing line and you're still locked up in combat alongside the Ford. Up ahead, the road narrows to 1 lane to cross a narrow bridge spanning a stream. Keep my accelerator pressed on the floor. Well, he's going to do that. Because he's made it clear he's not giving up. If we let him take the lead, we don't have any forward-facing weapons. What we're going to do, ram him from behind? I think we have to be an egotistical, arrogant twat, as I just pointed out. This is a battle of nerves between yourself and the driver of the Ford. To determine your racing skill, you must roll 1 die. This number is removed from your skill value, so try to roll low to keep the number as high as possible. Okay, 3 takes us down to a 9. The 2 cars race abreast towards the bridge. Your racing skill value is 9. This is a great result. You must now determine your opponent's racing skill by rolling another die. This number is removed from their skill value of 8. Oh, yeah, he's been on like a 5. What's it then going to be done? Like a fight? Who has the greatest racing skill? Clark has the greatest racing skill. As we've already established, he knows how to drive. When you're only a few meters from the bridge, the Ford driver's courage deserts him and he brakes hard, allowing you to cross ahead of him. Your racing skill is clearly more superior. What a sentence. Frustrated by your iron nerve, your opponent desperately tries to press you before you cross the finish line. The acceleration of the Ford is blistering because of its supercharger and the cars are soon locked bumper to bumper. You see the finishing line ahead no more than 200 meters away and realize that the Ford will pull out of your slipstream any second now to pass you. You must block the Ford. Will you swerve to the left or the right? Fighting fantasy rules, swerve left. Suddenly the Ford swings out to the left to try to overtake, but you have anticipated the driver's move and blocked him successfully. You gain 1 luck point, going back up to the 9 that we went down to a 9 for a luck test, lost a point for the oil slick being lost on the road. You maintain your lead, and as you cross the finishing line, the Interceptor is ahead of the Ford by half a car's length. You have won the Blitz race. The small crowd of spectators gathers around the Interceptor to congratulate you. And your remaining 6 points of armor. Looks like he's a bad loser, says one of the others. And it's the first time I've ever seen him lose. The woman who started the race hands you your prize, the can of petrol which you pack inside the Interceptor. We also don't get our 200 we had to pay for the entry back. It'll be about half an hour before the next race starts. So we're going to sit down over by the trees. Will you join us? She says. You decline her offer as you are keen to carry on with your mission. Also, you don't want to get robbed or mugged before you leave. Especially because there's a sore loser around and he might even come after us. They walk away, leaving you to check over the Interceptor for any serious damage. Oh, it's seriously damaged alright. While you are bending over the engine, you feel a tap on your shoulder. You look up and see the tattooed man who was sitting on the wooden gate. Which gang did you say you belonged to? He asked in a hostile tone. Your mind races back to the conversation you had with him. Black cats, black rats, or black bats? I said black rats. They could be enemies of his, but if I say any of the others, he'll be like, that's not what you said before, so I'll just be honest. I thought that's what you said, but it's just that I've never heard of them before. I hope they aren't all as good at racing as you are. I expect I'll see you again. I'm gonna join the others now, says the tattooed man. Much to your relief, he walks away, leaving you to drive off down the rough road to the main road where you turn right to head south. I wonder if one of those options would be him saying, that's not what you said before, and the other one would be like, those evil buggers. We hate them. Gonna get you for that. You flash past a handwritten sign which reads, Pete makes engines sweet, 1 mile to the left. You slow down as you approach a stone building with a corrugated iron workshop attached to it with the words Sparkplug Pete's painted on the billboard on the top of the roof. There are a few cars parked on the forecourt. As you come to a halt, a thin, pale man appears from the workshop wearing an oily blue mechanic's overall and a baseball cap. He waves and says, Nice car! Pretty fast, I guess, but not as fast as old Pete's can make it. If you're interested, I make payment. I like payment in credits and goods. I'll do a good job for you. We can stop and let him modify the engine. Can he fix up the armor on the car? Or we could refuse his polite offer and no, let's stop. You drive onto Pete's forecourt and park the Interceptor inside the workshop. Pete quickly examines the engine and says that the acceleration of the Interceptor could be improved by the addition of a supercharger, like our opponent had in the race. He tells you that the cost will be 100 credits plus some medicine. What do we have in our medkit? 10? Oh god, yeah, we got loads. We are able to pay Pete 100 credits and 2 packs from our medkit, so let's do it. You settle down to relax in the shade while Pete busily sets to work on the engine. He taps and bangs away, whistling happily. You drift in and out of light sleep. 2 hours later, he slams down the reinforced engine cover and says, "Okay, she's ready to roll." After giving Pete the 100 credits and 2 packs of medicine supplies, you start up the interceptor and accelerate away as fast as possible. You can feel the extra acceleration in your back and smile contentedly. Pete has done a good job. You gain 1 luck point and must now turn to 88. Which is probably, I think, as far as we might have gone on this path. And you know what? I've been playing for what, half an hour, 3/4 of an hour? It's probably a good time for a break. Oh, left or south? Oh, ooh, physical directions straight ahead and left. Compass directions north and east. It's very rare that you give them both. It's not long before the green vegetation gives way to a more barren terrain with tufts of dry grass dotted on top of the stony brown earth. You soon arrive at the edge of the desert where the road is joined by another main road leading east. Well, I reckon I'm going to stop at this junction and end the episode here. I hope you've all enjoyed this one, and I do look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. I'll say goodbye for now though, and cheerio everyone. See you all soon.